Hey guys, welcome back to Ranger Survival and Fieldcraft. I'm Andrew. Now what I have for you today is a combat knife survival kit and those skills associated with a small compact survival kit that can be fixed to or attached as part of our sheath for our combat knife. Stand by. Now the knife that we're going to be using for our survival video is the Blackbird SK5 from Ontario Knife Company, along with its sheath that has a small utility pouch for our survival kit. The knife is full tang, very strong material, S35VN metal, and that full tang means it's one single piece of metal that we can use to baton with. It has a 90-degree spine on the back and a good micarta handle that we can use degloved with one hand, or using gloves, hold it in one hand and use it appropriately. This knife is flat grind, meaning that we can sharpen it very easily out in the field as well. With this kit, we're not going to have that many items to fit inside that small utility pouch, but we do have some good survival items: a Commando Wire Saw, another cutting tool. We have a small flashlight to see in the dark, as well as for signaling. Snare wire for snares. We have a small button compass for land navigation, finding cardinal directions. We also have a pretty good fishing kit to go after some game, a ferro rod for fire. We also have another whistle for signaling. Both the flashlight and whistle have lanyards to wear around the neck. We have a Whirl Pac Bag that we could use to fill up with water, and iodine tablets to go along with that bag, as well as a Vaseline gauze pad for medical use as well as improvisation. Land navigation is incredibly important, and any tool that can give us an edge to find basic cardinal directions is a tool that we need in our survival kit. This button compass can give us that ability to find cardinal directions and move out. With a small survival kit like this, one of the first things we're going to need is water, because we're constantly on the move, so we need to locate water and hydrate. Water bags like this Whirl Pac 32-ounce water bag are going to be incredibly important, especially in a small survival kit like this knife belt kit that we have. We can take that water bag, fold it up very small, place it inside our kit with some water tablets, and we have a way to purify or disinfect our water to make it safe to drink. The small capsule holding our iodine tablets is just a small vial that held flu medicine. It's empty now, so we're going to use it to hold our iodine tablets. It holds approximately 10 tablets, meaning that we have 5 liters or quarts of water that we can disinfect and treat to get a drink and stay hydrated in our survival situation. With that Commando Wire Saw, we were going to attempt a bow saw frame, but everything is too cold and dry out here and continues to snap. So we're going to add 550 cord to our saw and turn it into a toggle saw. Applying 550 cord to the ends of our Commando Wire Saw is an excellent technique if that's all we have, and it's an improvisational technique that works fairly well. The trick is that we have to keep that saw straight as possible against the material we're cutting, and then cut into that fast and smooth to harvest that material. We can harvest good section like this to make appropriate tools for our survival situation. Harvesting this material, we're going to turn it into a simple digging stick. We take out our knife, round off the top portion for a handhold, shape the other end into a spike, leaving one portion of that bark attached to make it that much stronger. And then we have a club, a baton, a digging stick, as well as a throwing stick that we can use in a survival situation to provide for our basic needs. Digging sticks have been used cross-culturally for hundreds and thousands of years, and so we're going to use this basic digging stick to find some bait to go after some game out by the water's edge. Worms. Now that we have bait, we need just a simple fishing pole. Take out our Commando Wire Saw, harvest that pole so we can create a simple cane pole to go fishing. I recommend having a fishing pole or cane pole anywhere from 6 to 8 feet. We just need to keep in mind how much fishing line we have in our survival kit, because we're going to want that fishing line to be about 2 feet longer than the pole itself when that line is actually attached. That way we can reach out to the deeper end of the water we're fishing and go after the fish that are swimming there. But once we have our fishing pole or cane pole harvested, we can grab some cordage from our survival kit, cut a length, and then whip or lash that cordage to the end of our cane pole. With the excess that is running away from our cane pole, we just do a double overhand knot to create a tenkara fishing mount. We then take our fishing line from our survival kit, create a lark's head at one end, and then attach it to the cordage on our cane pole or tenkara fishing mount, add our hook, and our cane pole is complete. We should never overlook scavenging or trying to find resources while we're out in a survival situation, especially at the water's edge. We can find everything from animal sign down by the water to leftover fishing tackle and to other things that we need for survival. In this case, a bobber to use with our cane pole. Now that our cane pole is complete, we are ready to go fishing. The temperatures have dropped. It's below freezing out today. The water hasn't frozen over yet, obviously, but this means that the fish may be a little bit slower to react, or we may not get as many bites as we usually do in the warmer months, but we can still continue to attempt to go after fish, find that sweet spot in the water where we may get some bites, where we may see some fish, and go after those spots relentlessly in an attempt to get a meal. Once we find that sweet spot, we leave that cane pole in there with our bait on, and then just wait for the fish to take it. Once we see that movement and that bobber go under, just pick that cane pole up, and we've got a fish. This is actually the third fish I've caught today, so they are biting and they are out here even though the weather is cold. So that's good for us. Now that we have our fish and we are ready to process our game and get it over fire to get a meal in us, because we have water now and we need some energy for our survival situation, we're going to demonstrate how to split a large piece of material with only a combat knife survival kit. We don't have large tools to process large material, but we have this log for demonstration. Using our knife, we're going to baton the outside of that log to create simple wedges in order to split this log and make it more manageable for fire. This log has a natural crack in it that we can use to our advantage with the wedges we've created from the outside of that log. We just sharpen those wedges, put them in that crack, and using our mallet from our baton or our digging stick, hammer those wedges in until the log actually splits, and then we can break it apart. From here, it's a simple process in breaking this material down into tinder, kindling, and then fuel size material. So we start breaking away material using our knife and our digging stick acting as a baton or a mallet to break this material down. A technique that we can use is taking our knife, holding it point down with our anvil, the other half of that log, simply stabbing pieces of material and breaking them in half to make firewood or break down into finer material until we have finally our tinder, kindling, and fuel for our fire. One more step is creating feather sticks by simply carving away fine material from the firewood we've already split to increase the surface area. Material we are using for our fire is actually a hardwood. This is going to be a little bit more difficult to ignite with just our knife and our ferro rod. The flash tinder really didn't work, but we're lucky in that we have that Vaseline burn bandage. It's just cotton and Vaseline. So we can cut off a hunk of that and actually use it as tinder with our hardwood feather sticks to get our fire going. Once our tinder is lit, we take our feather sticks, put it right on top, and then begin stacking the other feather sticks that we have available to build up our fire. Once that fire gets going, we can start adding more and more fuel, but this is a technique. Not only does that Vaseline bandage double as a medical device for an injury, but it also is tinder for emergency fires such as this one. Now that we have our fire secure down by the water, we're going to process this fish down by the water as well. We do this because we can easily get rid of all trace evidence, and then we're not bringing smells back to any camps that we might use later on in the evening. Any wild game we take from the surroundings that we intend to eat, whether it be land animals through traps or active hunting methods, or fish from the water's edge, we want to cook that meat until it is well done. We want to cook it so that all the pathogens and parasites that may be inside are effectively killed off, and now that meat is safe for us to consume. Signaling is incredibly important in survival and often overlooked. Even in small kits like the one we have today, we can still fit signaling items in there for both day and night, visual and auditory signals, passive as well as active signals. We have our whistle, which is auditory, active signal that we can use both day and night. And then we have our flashlight that can be a passive signal, especially at nighttime with the strobe setting, to alert search and rescue of our presence. But we can also improvise with our kit with items that we have. That Vaseline bandage we can use by grabbing a green stick off the landscape, splitting it, and then applying that bandage in the middle of that split. We take our ferro rod out, using our ferro rod and the back of our knife, ignite that material like we did with the tinder for our fire, and then we have a handheld torch that will last a few minutes that we can use to see in the dark as well as for a signaling device. Alright guys, that does it for this video. Down and dirty combat knife survival kit and a lot of the skills associated with the items we're going to find inside of this kit. But I hope you liked this video. If you did like this video, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, leave me a comment in the comment section. I always appreciate your feedback. I want to thank you guys for everything you do for me, for this channel, for your likes, your views, your subscriptions, your comments, your feedback, and your shares. And I'll be back with another video as soon as I can, guys. Thanks.